Hello and welcome to Talking Good Gaming's match preview of the FA Cup third round fixture between Gillingham and West Ham United. We're here to talk about Gillingham, perhaps not for very long, and then we're going to talk about the team news for West Ham and what we hope to see happen on Sunday evening. Gonzo, this should be fun. What do you know about Gillingham?
What can I say? They play in blue. They play at the Priestfield Stadium. As far as my knowledge goes, not an awful lot. I think they played Portsmouth recently, drew. In fact, I think they're unbeaten in quite a while, actually, to be perfectly honest with you, Gio. I think they'd won before that and drawn. And I think they're possibly unbeaten in about 5 games or something like that. Based in Kent, so nice and easy for a lot of our fans to get to. Manager Steve Evans. Aside from that, I couldn't tell you anything else about them, mate.
Forget 5 games, they're unbeaten in 12 games. I think, they're unbeaten in 8 home games in all competitions, and they've only lost 1 since the start of November, which covers 12 fixtures. So they're battling form, Gillingham. They're only 3 points off the playoffs as well in League One, so the fact that they're 11th can be a bit deceiving, but they're certainly a team that's going up the table rather than down the table. Before you sort of looked at their form, when the draw was made, were you happy?
No. I've got to say, I think you got to remember when the draw was made, we got Pellegrini in charge. Not that I think it matters who we've got in charge. I think everybody treats the FA Cup with the same disdain that it doesn't deserve to be treated with. And certainly looking back, if you remember when we played Oxford, which I think you could probably highlight the point where we lost any sort of momentum, any wind in our sails that we actually had. We were just about to play Bournemouth. And both managers treated the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, both Pellegrini and Eddie Howe, insulted, I felt, the competition, insulted the travelling fans. And I think they both suffered because of it, because as it stands now, Pellegrini's lost his job. Eddie Howe's not looking too healthy at the moment either. In terms of a strategic ploy to try and rest your players to make sure that you play well in the league, you'd have to consider that it's abject failure from both managers there. I don't expect this to be treated any differently whatsoever. So when the draw was made, I just thought, well, we're gonna see much the same. Long in the tooth. We've seen it against Wimbledon. And any long-term Hammers support will know we've seen it for years and years and years. Apart from Malenko, who was the one manager in, I say recent times, it was donkey's years ago now, of course, wasn't it? The only manager in recent memory that's taken the cup seriously. So no, I'm never inconfident.
I think that's Arslan Slav.
Yeah, maybe, but okay.
My Slav never went out to a lower league opposition's manager West Ham. The only teams to knock us out of cups was Leicester when we won the league, and the 2 Manchester clubs. That's the only teams that beat us in cups under Slav. He did take them seriously. He just had tough draws.
This wasn't.
I was happy with this one prior to looking at how Gillingham are getting on. Now that I've had a look at their form and that, I'm a bit worried about it, to be honest with you. I had a quick scan over their team news. No injuries, no suspensions. They've got a fully fit team. Also not good. So I had a little look at a Gillingham fans forum earlier, and they're quite pessimistic, but they're playing a Premier League team at the end of the day, and they're they were referring a lot to the new manager bounce thing, thinking if this was Pellegrini, I'd maybe fancy us to have a pop here, but now that they've changed it, it's not too good. I had a little look at their players. There's none that jumps out at me that I recognise. There was an Ollie Lee, but I don't know if it's our Ollie Lee, but there's a striker called Hanlan whose underlying statistics are quite impressive in terms of his shooting, his dribbling, amount of times he gets fouled. His goals don't necessarily back that up, but from a statistical point of view, that's the player I would worry about. They play a 4-3-1-2 formation, which is probably tricky, I'd imagine. If they're playing 2 up front and then attacking midfielder, they're not going to hang about, are they? And they're going to be putting numbers at you. So, with our limited knowledge of Gillingham over and done with, let's talk about West Ham. Now, the first thing we're going to do is the team news as always. This one's a bit more complicated than normal. Fabianski missed training on Friday. However, David Moyes has said if he is fit, he will start on Sunday evening. Will he be fit? We don't know. He's also said, and to the fact that he uses different wording for Fabianski and then the following is interesting, because he also said that Noble, Ogbonna and Creswell are all touch and go ahead of Sunday night. So 4 players that started the last game are all iffy for Sunday, and of course no Michail Antonio. He is definitely missing Sunday evening's game and is doubtful for the Sheffield United run on the Friday. So with all that in mind, Gonzo, Well, first of all, I'm just going to say this. I'm a bit sceptical about this team news. I am a bit sceptical because David Moyes. We'll talk about this after the team stuff. David Moyes said he's taking this cup seriously.
Yep.
Then I find it a bit sceptical that 4 first-team players are all injured. I think it's almost David Moyes' way of resting those 4 players and saying, hang on a minute, the team I put out on Sunday is my strongest available team. I think it's his way of just resting them. Am I being a bit too sceptical, or do you...
No. My good mate, Cannon Town Len, when I think the club tweeted out that this was the injury situation. And Len said, let me just translate for you. Basically, I want to take the cup seriously. I'm going to take the cup seriously, but I'm going to put out a weakened team. Which is pretty much what it was. I read it to be exactly the same as well. So, having that being said, I think if that's all that happens, we can handle it. I think that's fine. I don't want to say Fabianski has to play. I don't. He's a goalkeeper, for goodness sake. He's not got to run around the pitch. If he's how injured is he? You know, what's he going to do? Look, get him in the goal. Just get him in the flaming goal. If he's got a knock's fine for a goalkeeper. Crikey, you know me. I like my mixed martial arts. I like my boxing. You know, a lot of these fighters go and fight when they're injured anyway. He's a goalkeeper. He's got to stand in a goal and dive around a bit, for goodness sake. Get him playing.
He has been out for a long time with a hip injury, so...
Well, you know, I still want him to play. What's he going to do? Bust his hip? No, he might be a bit sore. Have an injection, get on and play. That's what I want to see. The others, fair enough, they might have to run around a bit, and I think they're less important than him anyway. I think they're more easy to cover, and that's reflected in my team. But I do think he's... I hope he's not playing the game, because to say that he's taking the cup seriously, then try and fool us that players that aren't injured are injured, would take us for fools, and we would have to be idiots to believe it. And I hope we have enough of that with the ownership taking us for fools and treating the fan base like fools. I would hope he's not going to do that. So I've always said, I said this from day one, the proof of the pudding's in the tasting, Geo. So let's see what team he puts out, then we will see how seriously he's taking it. What I would say is, if actually he omits those players, but we still see Declan Rice and Anderson and Haller and Balbuena, and then we will know actually he probably is taking it seriously.
I was going to say, Creswell and O'Bonnell aren't the end of the world, because Masuaku and Diop can come in, so that's sort of like an expected rotation anyway for the cup, and you're not bringing in kids like the Noble one's a bit different because his replacement is probably Sanchez, and the Fabianski one's the worry because his replacement is Roberto, unless David Martin's made a miraculous recovery. There's just something funny going on with Martin. I don't know. I don't think we've got the whole story with him, because he just disappeared off the radar a little bit. But the Fabianski thing, I think he is not injured, but I don't think he's fully fit. Because against Bournemouth, I thought he was chucking the ball out a lot, like on the edge of his 18-yarder. He was throwing it to the halfway line. I thought that's not right for a goalkeeper. He's obviously avoiding kicking it, and that's a bit of a concern, because I don't want to see him risked, but at the same time, I don't want to see us risk the FA Cup with Roberto in goal. It's a very hard decision as to who to play. A half-fit Fabianski and risk an injury, or a crap Roberto. It's not a good choice.
What I would say on that, sorry, Gio, to interrupt, we've got Anang there.
I was about to say.
If what we're saying, Anang doesn't play... Now, I've seen Anang in the flesh, right? And the first thing I ever saw when I saw him warming up, and this is at Wimbledon last year, I said, who's that geezer? Right? He didn't look like a kid. He's huge. He was the biggest goalkeeper out of the lot, by the way, right? Who's that? Right. Well, firstly, he looks like a grown man. So we know it can't be because he's young. What is he mentally all right? Well, you have to assume he is. Are we honestly saying that Anang is a worse goalkeeper than Roberto? If he is, what the hell is he doing in the football club? Right? We have to assume he's better than Roberto. We have to assume everybody, yourself and myself included, are better goalkeepers than Roberto. In which case, if Fabianski is that injured and his hip is so bad that he can't lift one of his legs up, fine, I'll take that as an injury. Play Anang, because you're right to be worried about Roberto, mate.
I am worried, especially. I don't know how Gillingham play. I should probably know a bit more, research a bit more. But if they are a physical side, they'll be licking their lips, thinking, especially with 2 strikers, just get the ball in the box and we'll batter this keeper from the word go. Any sniff, we're in there. So the outfield 10. How would you like that to line up?
So back 4 of Fredericks, Diop, Balbuena, Masuaku.
Mine's exactly the same.
Okay, there's the 2 in central midfield, if you want to call it that. Depends how you read what Moyes was doing. But I thought it was a 4-2-3-1 that Moyes played, let's say. The 2 would be Rice and Fornals.
That's the same as mine, yeah.
There's no Sanchez in there. And if the injuries are as suggested, because we've lost Fornals from that 3, Lanzini is taken his place. Did you say Snodgrass was injured as well, possibly?
No, he's far away. He's perfectly fine.
Okay, I thought Snodgrass was also injured, so I'd put Yarmolenko, Lanzini, Anderson, and Haller. But if Snodgrass is fine, then he can go and take his place, because it's not like this is a midweek game. It's not like it's 2 games in a week. We don't play again until next Friday. So that's plenty of time to recover. So
it's still 3 games in 9 days, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but we still played 1 less than everybody else. So I think it's fine. They weren't really running around under Pellegrini anyway, were they? So they've had a good rest since Oxford, really, the players. So yeah, I think I'd probably start with Snodgrass because he was so good. So that's why I'd had Yarmolenko in there. But yeah, so
I thought,
it's a strong team.
I thought you'd have Nathan Holland in there.
I thought he'd gone to Oxford.
No, he's going after the game. They're keeping him for this game.
I would then. Yeah, sorry. Again, I misread it. I thought Snodgrass was injured. I thought Holland was off. Yeah, I would. I'd definitely have him ahead of Yarmolenko. Yeah, 100%.
Funny enough, mine 11's the same as your initial 11, regardless of the Holland situation, because I want to see 11 senior players out there taking this seriously, making a real statement of intent. I'm intrigued by Yarmolenko because David Moyes tried to sign him with Everton, so Moyes is perfectly aware of Yarmolenko, exactly who he is, how he plays. Granted, there's a few years gone by now, so Yarmolenko's a bit older and stuff, but he's still the same type of player, left-footed, right wing and stuff. So in the way Snodgrass's positioning was against Bournemouth, it's a role that I can see Yarmolenko playing. Snodgrass was quite narrow, he was getting inside the pitch. This type of bar Morales, I can't really think of any out-and-out wingers Moyes had at Everton. He always liked his players to be able to come inside the pitch and stuff. Like he always had Pinar on the left and he would come in on his right and stuff. So I think Yarmolenko does suit his sort of blueprint from Everton a little bit. So I'm intrigued by that, and I think this is a game I wouldn't mind the experiment to happen. I don't want to see it against Sheffield United. I don't want to see Yarmolenko playing there, but just to give him a run. I would rest Snodgrass because he was so good against Bournemouth, and I don't actually blame him if he went up to Okbona and put his arm around and said, look, you've been fantastic under Pellegrini, you're brilliant for me, you have a rest on this one, mate, don't you bother coming to Gillingham. I'll have Winston Reid on the bench, who David Moyes has said is training perfectly fine and stuff, so I'd be saying to Okbona, you're not even in the squad, you just take the weekend off, mate, you do what you want as a reward. Hammer of the year so far, here's your reward. I'd be saying to Rice, I'd love to give you the same treatment, unfortunately we don't have anyone, so you're just going to have to play. But that's what I would do. I'd the exact same team as you. Big players out there, get the game won. Then the one disappointment, I never mentioned this, the one disappointment from Bournemouth for me in hindsight is that 4-0 up we didn't bring a Jetty on. I would have liked to have seen, get him on for the last 10 minutes or something. The game's won, just get him some time. And this is a good opportunity for him to come on if the game is out of sight a little bit. Moyes' comments though, David Moyes straight after the Bournemouth game said he's going to be taking the FA Cup seriously. He got to the FA Cup final with Everton, he wants to experience it again. What do you make of those comments? Does that fill you with a bit more hope?
Yes, but then I appreciate what Sam Allardyce said recently when you sent me the screenshot of what Allardyce had said about the owners don't care about the cup and they just say, Premier League survival at all costs.
I mean, that must be David Moyes' thing as well when he got employed. It must be very much survive.
But Moyes isn't a silly man. He's a bright man. Clearly he's a bright man. So but he's going to know that he can't come out and say that. He's going to know that supporters want the FA Cup. The owners will know the supporters want to run the FA Cup. But it is almost the unsaid secret. I guess all secrets are unsaid, aren't they? Otherwise, public knowledge is not a secret. But it's the secret, isn't it? Basically, secretly, the club and the managers have no ambition of the FA Cup. Just whatever you do, don't tell the fans. Get them to keep paying their money and travelling up and all the rest of it and getting excited about it. But secretly, we don't want it. So I can't even say that I was pleased to hear his comments. I will only believe it when I see it. Whilst I think he's smart, I mean, the funny thing is, with any of these guys, the moment somebody wins an FA Cup, they propel themselves into into almost an unsackable position. You know, you win an FA Cup as a manager, I'm telling you, people will be backing you over the owners every time in everything that you do. You'd be hero worshipped at the club. Your legendary status would be cemented at West Ham by winning one cup far more than it was by doing 10 good, solid years at Everton. I'm going to assure you that because
within the fan base, though, I think that's important. Within the fan base,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But that is, you ask any of these, maybe that doesn't seem important, but then you go back and you ask any of these old legends that come to West Ham and do all the legend stuff and do the ambassadorial roles. You look at the way they are. Well, I mean, you look at how we treat Bazte and Carlton Colt, for goodness sake, people like that. Imagine winning an FA Cup. It's really something tangible to be treated with cult status by a fan base and thanked and worshipped until your dying days, to be lauded as a hero. It's really something. I look at it, I think, why don't you want that glory? Why don't you want a trophy? I mean, Sam Allardyce forever telling everybody how successful a manager he is. I'm one of the most successful managers in the Premier League. Mate, you know, you're going to go down as a loser, old son, right? All you did was the bare minimum, which was basically not get relegated. You might laugh at Steve McLaren, but he won the league title in Holland. He got to UEFA Cup final and he won the League Cup. Even old Harry Redknapp won an FA Cup. When you finish, what Martinez did, didn't he? Martinez won a trophy as well. It depends how you want to measure it, but you're fooling nobody. I just think a lot of these managers don't realise quite how important a trophy is to the fan base.
Yeah, I think the fan base thing is a key, though, because you say he's unsackable. I think he is sackable. Maybe in the fans' eyes he's unsackable, but if we got relegated, I wouldn't be surprised if the board got rid of him in the summer. Said, no, that's it, I don't care if you won the FA Cup, we're down now and this is your fault, out. And when Sam Allardyce says he's a success, he probably is in the eyes of everybody's boardroom, because he generated all that cash and stuff. He just sees success differently to what you and I do as a football fan. And like you said, he shone the light a little bit when he did that thing on Talk Sports, saying, you know, your board very much tell you just to stay up, bring the cups off a bit and just concentrate on the league. Moyes has made a bit of a rod for his own back here, because if we go out, the fan base is going to turn around and say, well, you know, this is you taking it seriously when you've gone out to a League One side. So you're not good enough, are you? But I think Moyes will have learnt from his first spell here that when he chucked both cup competitions, that really came back to haunt him a little bit, and he lost the support of some of the fan base when he didn't bother taking the cups very seriously. I think he might have learnt from that, thinking, well, if I take the cup seriously and finish 17th, the fans will still like me. But if I finish 12th and bin the cups off, the fans will still be a bit iffy with me. They might not warm to me. So this is how you get the fans on side. With all that in mind, be confident.
As long as we don't concede the first goal. Yeah, I am. If Gillingham scored the first goal, we're banging trouble. There's no doubt about it. We do not think that 4-goal win gives us anything other than a paper thin bit of confidence. Yeah, you know, that is broken very, very easily, that confidence, and you know, we go 1 goal behind and the squad move back to the Pellegrini mindset of thinking, oh my goodness, you know, what's going on here. I think we get the first goal, then we're still on a roll. We still got that Bournemouth bounce, if you like. So I think, yeah, I think I am confident in it, though, and particularly if all we're going to see is those 3 players out, and he doesn't bring Sanchez in. He does something like what you and I have suggested. Yeah, I've got to be confident, because I think if we play with that endeavour, if we play what we did against Bournemouth, we will match their grit and determination, which they will have their ability to be up for the occasion. I think then we are up for the occasion. But the signal has got to be right, because it wasn't just all about the teams that Pellegrini put out against Wimbledon and against Oxford. It was almost the signal it sent to the players, that the signal then was, this isn't important. More than anything else, I don't want Moyes just to be saying to us in the press conferences going for the FA Cup. I want him to be saying it to the players, we are going for the FA Cup. This is serious. If you don't perform in this game, you might not play against Sheffield United. Okay, this is really important. It's important to the fans, important to me. It's important, just hugely important to the club. I want him to be saying that, because if our players turn up and put in 90% effort, we'll lose.
Yeah, I'll go along with that, actually. I think the team we put out has to be really strong. I think it will be really strong. But the keeper situation just worries me. If I see Roberto in goal, I'm going to be terrified. I know he came away from the Palace game without doing too much wrong, but he didn't do too much right either. It was quite a quiet game for the keeper, despite the fact that we conceded 2 goals. They're going to see us as this Gillingham. We're going to see this as an opportunity to win, and I don't blame them at all. They're going to be looking, thinking, okay, they beat Bournemouth, but they're also going to be looking, thinking, well, that win doesn't really tell the whole story. That was a crap Bournemouth team, an injury struck in Bournemouth team. You look at the goals, the first one took a wild deflection. Yeah. The third one was a penalty that was a very soft penalty. There's no VAR in this game, by the way. The VAR is only in games which have a Premier League team at home. I mean, how is that fair for the spirit of the competition? I do not know. But so there's no VAR in this game, so I think Gillingham will be up for it. Their place, I'm sure the ground will be sold out, rocking as it always is for this type of fixture. And if they get the goal, I think they'll almost believe they're going to win, and they're going to make it very difficult. And we're going to see, I actually think we'll almost see David Moyes' tactics. We'll shut up shop a little bit, we'll commit enough fouls, we'll piss you off, we'll boot the ball away, and what are you going to do about it? Our bench doesn't have much game changers if those players are injured. If you look at the bench, we're going to have a Jetty, we might have Holland, but then you've got Carlos Sanchez, Pablo Zabaleta. There's not much on there to come on and win the game or tip it in your favour, which is a bit of a worry to me a little bit. But I am confident we do have the better team on paper. Moyes cannot allow his second game to kill the momentum. We need to win for going into the Sheffield United one. And Gonzo, may I get your score prediction for tomorrow night, please?
Well, I think as long as people like Haller, Anderson, Lanzini, Rice, Diop, players like that are in the team, I think we win 3-0.
I'm gonna say 2-1. I'll say 2-1. I'll go 2-1 West Ham. Anyway, it's wins all around for myself and Gonzo. Let us know what you think in the comments below. What team do you want to see? There's always people that don't care about the FA Cup, and I'm not saying you're wrong and stuff, but you don't share the same opinion as me and Gonzo, where we prioritise the Cup over the league. You will prioritise the league over the Cup. Let us know in the comments below what lineup you would like to see. Connor Coventry signed a new contract at West Ham today and is due to go out on loan next week, so he could also be involved to tomorrow night's fixture as well. So let us know if there's any youngsters you want to see, like Nathan Holland. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're around here. We'll be back tomorrow prior to the fixture starting with our build-up show. So I think it's a 6:15 kickoff, so 5:15 we'll be live on the channel. Then we'll have a review immediately after full time as well. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch you in a bit.